This is the middle of page 187. If you are looking for the video that has the your turn from the middle of page 187, that's on the previous video. This video starts in the middle of page 187. It talks about a different method for converting units by using what's called a conversion factor. This is a little bit tricky. I'm going to do my best to explain it. I want you to recognize that at the end of this instruction, if you don't like this method, in the future you're welcome to use whatever method you choose. But I'm going to do my best to show you how to do this. Another way to convert measurements is by using a conversion factor. A conversion factor is a ratio comparing two equivalent measurements. So we're going to go ahead and examine what they're trying to teach us here in the bookwork under example 2. It says Elena wants to buy 2 gallons of milk but can only find quart containers for sale. How many quarts does she need? So we go to and we start with the conversion factor, and we just get that from page 186. And the conversion factor tells us that a gallon is equal to 4 quarts, and so we write that as a ratio. 4 quarts is 1 gallon. So we're going to write that as part of our problem. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon, and we're going to multiply that by the information in the table, which is she needs 2 gallons of milk. Now I want you to notice something that happens here. We're going to cancel the common unit, and we're going to do that diagonally. See what they do here is they cancel the gallons. And so all that's left is the quarts, which is nice because that's what we're looking for. It says how many quarts does she need. So the answer is going to be quarts. And the math is these two words cancel, but the math is 2, and this is like 2 over 1. 2 times 4 is 8, so it ends up being 8 quarts. So I'm going to show you that exact problem there, but pretending that we didn't have all this information. So if we wanted to use this method, what we would do here is we would say she wants 2 gallons of milk. And I'm going to multiply that by the conversion factor of 1 gallon of milk is equal to 4 quarts. And this should make a little bit of sense. 4 quarts per gallon times 2 gallons is going to be 8. Because 2 is like 2 over 1. So I've got 2 times 4 is 8. And it's going to be 8 quarts because these two words gallon cancel out, and so the only word that's left is quarts, so it's going to be 8 quarts. If you like that method, you're welcome to use it. If you don't like that method, that's fine. I'm going to model that method on our next problem that we solve, and then in the guided practice there's a couple of problems that want us to use that method, but then after that I'll let you choose what method you want to choose. Okay? So let's go ahead, and this video will now go to the top of page 188, and we'll do the your turn, and then we're going to make a new video for the guided practice. So this is going to be number 3 from the top of page 188. And I'm going to use the same method I just showed you. It's called the conversion factor. It says an oak tree is planted when it is 250 centimeters tall. What is this height in meters? So I'm going to take the number given to me, which is 250, and I'm going to put cm. I'm going to multiply that by the conversion factor. And the conversion factor needs to be 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. And it needs to be in that order because of what I said earlier, which is that the centimeters will cancel diagonally. And my answer is simply going to be what the only unit that's left, which is meters. So my answer is going to be in meters. Now this math is a little different than the last one, and let's examine why. 250 would be the same as 250 over 1. So now I've got 250 times 1, that equals 250. Over 1 times 100 is 100. This is an improper fraction where 100 goes into 250 2 times with 50 left over. So it's going to be 2 and 50 hundredths. And as a decimal, 50 hundredths looks like this. It's a 5 in the 10th place. 2.5 is probably our best answer. You can write 2.5 if you want, but it makes more sense to put a decimal. Our answer is going to be 2.5, and it's going to be 2.5 what? We already talked about that. Since all the centimeters cancel, it's going to be 2.5 meters, which is good because that's what the question asks. It says, what is this height in meters? Is 2.5. Now, again, if you don't like that method, I don't even mind showing you right now. Maybe I'll show you the alternative method. Here's what you could have done on number 3. Number 3 doesn't even tell you which way you have to do this. Here's what you could have done on number 3. If you would have done this, if you would have started over here with 1 meter is 100 centimeters, and that's equal to, where does this 250 go? It goes as my second term, 250 centimeters. And then you simply have to ask yourself, how would you multiply 100 to make it 250? You would multiply it by 2.5, because 2.5 times 100 would be 250. So if you multiply that times 2.5, you multiply this times 2.5. 1 times 2.5 is 2.5 meters. It doesn't really matter which method you choose, it just matters that you can get the right answer and you understand that. So you choose which method works better for you. The method I'm going to go with is what the directions indicate we're supposed to. So on the next page, it's going to tell us when to use the conversion factor and when to use ratios and proportions. Okay, good job. You're done with pages 187 and the top of page 188. The next video will be page 188, guided practice.